it seemed to me like it was a love story. Then a month later, you were divorced.
It wasn't a month later. It was several years later.
Come on.
No. Come on. What am I lying?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, what do I got to lie for? I'm divorced over 10 years now. What do I have to make that up for?
You've been with Beth for like 9, right?
Yeah.
All right, well. Would you get like divorced and then meet Beth the next day?
Just about, yeah. No. I got divorced after I was separated. And then I got divorced. I don't know. Look, it was a year or two. I'm not good with dates, but the fact is that when I did the movie, what can I tell you? I thought my marriage would last forever. Shit happens.
JD answering a question right now.
Yeah, I'm like Mushmouth over there. That's the best I can do, John. I was gay way before I met Beth. I have a wide varying interest level.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do, when it comes to media.
You have a very gay interest level.
I love Smallville. Beth doesn't make me watch Smallville. What do you think? I do everything Beth wants?
My girlfriend speaks fluent French.
No.
Yeah, so she,
You're kidding.
Yeah, so she knows what standard, like but she's shy about it, but she could say to the waiter, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm like, wow, that's cool. I respect anyone who can speak another language.
That's a classy broad.
She could speak German, French, and English.
How'd she learn all that?
Yeah.
Well, when she was in Europe, she just picked up the language.
Oh, when she was in Europe?
Yeah.
Well, Beth always says to me, you're much older than I am. You're 19 years. What am I going to do when you're dead? Blah, 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 blah. And I go, honey.
She's going to have a party.
Let me tell you something.
We're gonna have a party.
Oh, look now we know how Robin's thinking.
Wow.
No, now you're going to say, I'm making a
You're
joke.
fucked up.
Joke.
Oh, I didn't even I'm a dark motherfucker. My mind didn't even go there.
Wow.
You guys are ridiculous.
You suck.
How dare you?
Wow.
We're busy yesterday shopping for her birthday gift.
You're an
You are
asshole.
shameful.
Come on, you know
Everybody
that.
here
Wow.
says everything to me.
Arnie, but you're closer to him. You're a girl.
Ouch.
That's why it's a joke.
That hurt.
You know what I was saying?
Yeah, not from you. You're not that funny. I got news
I
for
was
you.
thinking she's going to have to wait a long time. I mean, you've got like genes on your side. You're going to be like 150 years old.
I said thank you, Chris. I said to her.
It's a joke.
Yeah, okay.
She doesn't have to start planning for the party for years.
Welcome, everybody, to another installment of Quite Frankly, featuring Jim and Sam. I'm Jim.
And I'm Sam.
And this particular episode is one of a series called, what did we just call it, Sam?
Reschinding.
Reschinding, okay. And the basis is simply that he's done so many, Howard has done so many celeb turnarounds and mea culpas. He's always been, oh, I'm sorry, I was a young man back then, and I was a crazy, angry young man. I was an angry young man of 40s and 50s when I was calling you a cunt, or when I said Ellen looks like she smelled bad pussy and all these things. So we decided we'd like to make a series of them, and starting with the first one today is going to be about Jennifer Aniston and how he used to talk so much shit about her, and now he's gone to vacationing with her and in Cabo, and he's gone to the wedding, and he's more recently when he went to LA, he did see her.
He actually made a speech at her wedding, so
yeah.
It's a big rescinding turnaround.
Absolutely. So we've got a bunch of clips we are going to play, and we'll go through them, but these won't be longer episodes than normal. We'll try to keep them as short as possible, although some of you like them. But before then, we'd like to actually read some of the YouTube comments that people have left on our first 2 and 3 episodes. Well, I should say 2 episodes, even though it's 3 videos on my channel. And Sam, would you like to read some of the comments?
Sure. The first one I'm going to read, which I thought was very funny, was The Real Howard Stern, a depiction of the king of all schmedia by Benjamin. Howard was picked apart like an abandoned Escalade with no tires in the middle of the hood. And I thought that was so perfect because Benjamin left no meat on those bones. He did an amazing job and fantastic myth-busting episode, as well as just a detail on how much of a fraud Howard is in his career and how much he stole from other people. And I just thought that was a clever way to give props to Benjamin, and I'm so glad that we did that.
Yeah, that was actually a redo, but we thought the movie needed that as a proper commentary to debunk the science fiction that the film was, and basically some students, sorry, I've got school on the brain. Some listeners have been asking, well, who is Benjamin? Because you don't know him from The Old Place, and basically he's just a reservoir of stern knowledge. He's read all the books. He was a super fan. When he became a fan, he dove head first, and he made sure he was fully immersed in the Stern universe for a long time. And it wasn't until, I think he may correct me, but I think 2010 or 2009 when he started putting some things together with different forums. And I mean, it goes back to Stern Fan Network, Dog Shed before then. And he started putting pieces together that just didn't add up, and he became just as intensely an anti-fan, like an ex-super fan. So just because you're not a fan anymore doesn't mean you can't hate listen. And he has one of my favorite quotes, which was, some of you people obviously don't understand the joy of petty hatred. And that's what this is. Have you got another one?
No, you can go. You go. You do one.
Okay, this is one from This was one from Patrick J. He said, "This is great. I love that you started a podcast, but this one is better. Less cutting each other off with zero cackling." That was kind of our goal, to make a podcast that was more listenable. We hope we've succeeded. Some people disagree, but in a funny way. Natalie Pinero Stack says, "Well, I sound like the late Bob Ross, the dude with the painting," and I'm trying my best not to sound like that. But I do love.
Somebody actually said you sounded like Jimmy Kimmel, which I was a little perplexed by that. But I read some of the comments, and somebody said you sounded like Jimmy Kimmel, and I had to give it a second thought. And I'm like, I don't see that, but okay. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
I don't hear it actually. And Jimmy Kimmel, well, maybe I'll have to re-listen to him, I suppose, but hopefully not with certain segments. Anytime Stern's on that show, on the Kimmel Show, which we've used to religiously go through because it was so hilariously ass-latheringly unfunny. Because he would give
circle jerk that would go on during those shows is unreal.
Yeah, typically a guest gets 9 minutes, but he would give him both segments because his tongue's right up his colon, and it was so unfunny. And to listen to Jimmy kind of help him along this old, deluded, unfunny shit, it was hard to listen to.
Also, just the fact that you got a little insight when he would come on onto what it's like to stay at his house with Beefus, Beth, and the whole. It seems so awkward and unfun.
Yeah, we do. Pardon me, everybody. I'm dealing with a little bit of a dry cough, so I'll try to minimize that. We have Kimmel to thank at least for giving us the later audio of when he and Howard actually does encounter Aniston and basically makes good with her from never having her on the show except the one time back in 1989, and then trashing her up until he gets on around 2014. They finally meet on vacation, and all of a sudden they're best buds, and then he's at their wedding. So we have Kimmel to thank for that, I suppose.
Kimmel's a lot of the reason why he has a lot of these new forged friendships with celebrities that he mocked relentlessly before. So
I'm going to read a couple segments from Mark's Friggin at some point during this recording so that people get more of an understanding of what it all is, where it starts and where it sort of continues from 2013 to 2015 and present day as well. So another YouTube comment was, this is from Wolfgang Wafflegang, who I think is Cyclone from The Old Place, and who's a brilliant poster, I think, because it just looks like his writing style. I'm not sure. This is the real Jim. Yeah, this is the real Jim and Sam show. Thank you. One minor quibble. It's a mistake to doubt Beth was a prostitute, from both reality and entertainment standpoint. It would be like pretending Howard is straight. The Sandra Bernhardt revelation aside, by Beth's own admission, she cheated on every boyfriend she ever had, Howard admitting to paying her rent in the early days, and she was on a quote-unquote blind date with another dude the night they met. Oh, and that's when we had to listen to the Andy Cohen interview with Beth, where she talks about feeding Howard off her plate and stuff. Most people haven't heard it, but it's cringeworthy because it flies in the face of the actual story they keep telling and retelling differently every time. He says, "Oh, and there's absolutely no photographic evidence of her being a legit model before she hooked up with Howard, and that's not exactly true. She was an Ames model. She was a catalog model." But when they talk supermodel, yeah, you're right. There is no proof of that. I don't think she was hot enough to be paid merely to be at parties, especially with that quote unquote personality. I think she really had to quote unquote work. And I'm not, yeah. And Sam actually
I was in agreement with this comment. I said that I don't doubt it either. I believe it could have easily been prostitution, and you leaned more towards the club VIP party. But when you think about how atrocious her personality is, I mean, yeah, I could totally see prostitute.
But she's so, as I can use Howard's own words, sexless. She just radiates so little sexuality and never has, in my opinion, for years. She's always seemed like some coke whore. So some coke freak, not coke whore. Like just some like insane like volleyball player gone amok with like this coke and stuff and just looking for the first mirror and a razor to, you know.
She's on Red Bull, Fillmore. Calm down.
I guess it's Red Bull. Yeah, shameless plug. I'm surprised it wasn't Peloton on that Ellen show. That's another one we got to go through. At any rate, there's also one comment. I don't have it with me now, but it's a person who claims to be Latino and gay, I believe, and wondering why we throw about the word fag or gaylord and stuff, and they don't have the history of where we come from, and they don't understand. So to try to explain briefly that it's not when we use these terms, we're not talking anti-gay. We're actually just more pissed off that this guy Howard, who we believe is closeted, and has been such a negative force to the gay and lesbian community for, you know, decades now. It's hypocritical of him to still no longer saying on his show, "That's so gay, dude. That you're gay. You're so gay. You're such a fag." He said this for years, and he never got called on.
Yeah, he perpetuated stereotypes for decades. Mm-hmm. He pushed staff into gay lie detector tests, embarrassed them for being gay, like being gay was an embarrassment. And I need to call you out on this by dragging Ed Torian in and calling you out for it and having him give you a lie detector test, sometimes twice. I mean, there's just absolutely no reason for it. There's no reason to ever think that he's a supporter of the gay community. I think he's a closeted homosexual. I think he did nothing for the gay community, and I doubt he donated to any charities, including Gary's. Seriously.
Oh, what was it called again?
Live Aid.
Life Beat,
not Live Aid.
Gary would be schnurring for free tickets to Live Aid, but he wouldn't be donating anything to it.
Wasn't John at Mellencamp's or what? Wait, what was Live Aid? Live Aid, was that for the hunger? I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh, you're so dating yourself now, but you're so showing your age.
Is that for the hunger?
Yeah. That was for the
so
Ethiopia.
Nice.
That was for the Ethiopia.
Oh, good. So it had
70
nothing
years
to do
ago.
with gays. I totally apologize. It had to do with starving Ethiopian kids. I'm so glad I'm right on track.
Yeah, it wasn't about giving movie cameras to kids in Africa to make movies like Robin, which, you know, that was we all know that hunger, don't we? So basically, yeah, we're not. If you go back with us to the old site, it's about outing Howard as comeuppance. It's not about anti-gay, because we really don't give a fuck one way or the other. It's just annoying that the guy doesn't come out, and we're trying to
totally pro Live Aid.
Yeah, she wasn't. Yeah. We'll throw that as a Bill Graham throw out there for you. So at any rate, let's continue on with what we're going to be talking about. We're going to play some clips throughout this broadcast. And so the first one we're going to talk about is the first visit that Jennifer Aniston had on the show, which apparently dates back to 89. And I, of course, I was 14 at the time. I wouldn't have known or cared. She was doing Nutrisystem. So she was just a Nutrisystem girl. And back then,
I
guess
remember the clip when they realized that she was actually on the show before she was famous. Then she obviously, soared to fame with Friends, and they were like, I think that's the girl. And they were right.
And later on, you're going to hear one about Bowie saying that he thought he could get her, which I don't know on what planet Bowie thought he could get just about anybody. That anyway, maybe when she was a teenager and he was into his teen anal. Anyway, let's start with the first one.
Not Courtney Cox, but you know the girl who's good looking?
Which one? There's the tall blonde and the short one with the funny hairdo.
Yeah, her.
Okay.
She was on our show once. When Nutrisystem used to advertise, she came in as a person who lost weight on Nutrisystem.
No.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, so we dug up the tape.
Come on, that can't be possible. Did she say she was an actress?
And you could tell she's embarrassed by it because Stuttering John ran into her somewhere and tried to interview her, and she was like trying to act like she didn't know who he was and stuff. Don't bother me.
Trying to act like she didn't know who he was. If you didn't listen to the radio and didn't watch his show, you didn't have any fucking clue. This would have been like, when did Friends start? 93?
It was the early 90s. I'm not sure when the exact date was, but it was definitely early 90s. I'd say
92,
maybe
93.
I'll look that up. But yeah, listen to that voice, by the way.
And that was a compression voice still back then, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But it's so much energy, so much, and that's the difference between the show now and then. Also, like, okay, he's an old man doing a podcast basically, and to have him go on about, I don't know.
I think she got nervous that we were going to say something.
Was she fat once?
No.
Was she fat?
It premiered September '94, by the way.
Okay, so I was off by a little bit, but yeah, she was, and it was huge. Friends started huge, and it never went down in the ratings. I think to this date, that finale was the most watched finale of most watched sitcom, half-hour sitcom, I think.
And they're coming back. They're doing a reunion.
I heard they got 2.5 million or something each for this reunion. Is it going to be on Netflix or? I don't. It's not. It can't be NBC.
I think it's Netflix, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. Either way, it's a shitload of money, but they're going to get. It's something that's going to get huge press.
Claims to have lost 15 pounds, but you two weren't buying it. You were fawning all over her. She must have been.
Yeah, she was gorgeous.
Oh, I don't remember this.
She came in. She told us she wanted to be an actress. But anyway, here's Stuttering John with her, and then I'll play.
What's her name?
Jeanette Aniston. Jennifer Aniston.
Oh my God.
So again, like, I don't remember her fucking name because I'm too important. She's nothing, right? He knows exactly what he's going to talk about.
I know, but he's just so ridiculous. That quip he does with not remembering people's names is so. He does it constantly.
Tired. Yeah.
Stuttering John.
And she uses that name.
Yeah. I don't know if I have the Stuttering John thing. Is this Stuttering John? Okay.
Because I remember when Stuttering John caught her at some...
This is the one good thing Stuttering John did was I liked these, bombarding interviews. I didn't mind him when he was doing this. On the show, I wasn't the biggest fan of his, but when he did these celebrity interviews, I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah.
And she was just like trying to act like he wasn't...
sort of blowing him off.
Can we ask you a question, please, for WXRK, please?
One quick question.
Okay, who are you now?
Who am I?
That was a standard Stuttering John question, like, why are you famous? Who are you? That would, which, like, it was Fred and Jackie. I'm probably Jackie that wrote every single one of them. Fred just getting the credit subsequently, but he didn't write any of these questions. He will tell you he did in his book and what have you, but Stuttering John, he couldn't. First of all, he can't write, so I don't know how he would come up with these questions. So.
Well, then that doesn't matter.
Oh, no, please. I know you're somebody famous, right?
No, I'm not.
All right, can I answer your question, please? Don't you think... Wow, what the hell's going on from here?
No.
Please.
I don't...
She ran away from him.
Yes.
Please.
She realized who it was.
Does it suck that Kato Kalin is a celebrity?
It's pathetic.
What's your name again? Is it Debbie?
She like ran away because I guess she's, trying to reinvent herself.
Get rid of this awful past.
So she evidently must have...
That makes no sense, trying to get rid of her awful past.
She
What the
tried to
fuck are they
lose
talking
weight. I mean, didn't he do that too? I'm sorry, Howard, you didn't get a sponsor from Nutrisystem for your fat ass.
That's when you were eating Roy Rogers and Robin was going through the Yule log and all the Ben and Jerry's she could. This is the thing that you're going to find going through these clips, that he's really he gives her so much shit about stuff that's absolutely applicable to himself, especially the being secretive and not wanting people to know her business and stuff. Meanwhile, who's more secretive than, number one?
And also, too, if somebody's just running up to you and saying, "Who are you?" Why do you have it? What? Okay. No, thanks. If somebody's running up to me with a microphone and asking me who I am, I'm not answering them either. I mean...
And looking at Howard the way he is now, like you see him those junkets going out of Kimmel or wherever, and there's video, like people have taken video footage of him leaving whatever Ellen and stuff, and there's like a SEAL Team 6 is all around going through like, hey, keep away, whatever. He's completely isolated.
He would literally have a magician's like cape over him and like poof in and out. I mean, he does not want to be seen at all.
The poofs on his head, and he'd be tasering people, just like 20 people 20 feet away. They'd be going, zzz, like, fuck you, get out of our way.
But why would she do this?
She was a struggling actress. She probably figured, hey, maybe something will come of it.
Only 20 years old.
Yeah. So here she is. This is Jennifer
Aniston?
Yeah. The girl from Friends.
On
our show, being a Nutrisystem girl. Well, maybe she really went on Nutrisystem and said, hey, I'll help you out, because it'd be cool. I'll be on the radio.
Maybe they did it for her for free.
She was a struggling actress. You take any gig you can at that time, and your agency also sends you these gigs, and you do them, and it's very normal. I don't know what they're fucking going on about.
I mean,
he wouldn't know because he's not in the business.
Gift descriptions, so be quiet.
Yeah, when she was well and truly into it with him, so that's what they could get, gift descriptions. That was the fucking nadir, wasn't it?
Or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we cut this down just so you could, What have you acted in? What have you acted anywhere?
Yeah.
What have we seen?
Show at the Public Theater.
Oh, you need help with your career, honey. You never.
Oh God! Like, this is a guy who was in Rider PI. Look it up on YouTube, everybody. It's in mid-80s. He plays and he names his own character Benoit. Like, this is the level of intellect. This is the level of comedy, and it's the most excruciating piece of acting you've ever seen in your life.
You need help with your career, honey. I would snatch that friggin' rug right off of his head. You need help with your hair, honey.
You need help with your sexuality, honey.
We're gonna get anywhere. My bad, taking interest.
What show did you do at the Public Theater?
For Dear Life.
For Dear Life, that's not good.
Oh, that's a start, Howard.
Please.
It's a great theater. So I've only been in it a year professionally.
I don't like your attitude. You need to be humbled a little bit. You're a little too impressed with yourself.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You need to be...
Do it. Do that whenever. Go ahead. Go ahead. I know you want to say it.
Audacity of this pile of shit to even think that Jennifer Aniston... I'm almost mad at her for giving him the time of day and giving him the wedding invitation and giving him the clout to be a so-called friend and go on vacation with him. I hope they troll those two skeleton twinned idiots the entire time he's in their presence, because this is so rude. He's such an ass.
Well, this is the thing that I don't understand. Well, it should go into at the end of it all, but do you think that's exactly what it is now? She knows. Do you think she knows about all the nasty shit he's said about her over the years, or do you think she cares? Do you think she ever nobody played it for her, or do you think she's just that thick-skinned? She goes, fuck it. I know he's an asshole. I'm going to get him closer.
I know when she was on Ellen in her most recent appearance, they both had a kind of sidebar conversation and said, I'm surprised that we're friends with him too. Like, I'm surprised that this relationship. But they both gave each other that knowing look and kind of shake of the head, like, yeah, we tolerate these dumb fucks now for our entertainment value, because I think that they are so stupid, shallow, desperate, pathetic, and they're so desperate for celebrity attention that I think they almost toy with them, kind of like, you know, that dinner for schmucks sort of thing. And we're bringing these two.
Yeah. I guess that's I've always thought that's what it was. It was like let's take a retard to school day. Like let's have and then I got to do a retraction about special needs next podcast. The idea that they would have this gargoyle along with them if anywhere, and then his wife his beard this tall drink of water that just seems to empty wine cellars constantly and has nothing to say. And when she does open her mouth, what tumbles out is so embarrassingly awful. I don't know why you'd put up with it, except for your own except maybe to goof on them when they're gone.
Correct. I mean, because they left the vacation early, so perfect. We're talking about the vacation they went on this year with Jennifer Aniston and Kimmel and whoever else.
Did they go this year? Because the archives, I just remember it from being years ago. Like it was.
No, they went this year and they left
as well
early. Howard said it because it was over a mosquito bite.
It was a flesh wound. Okay.
You need a lesson from a real man.
Is there one in the studio?
Man who's seen the world.
And been depressed.
He never leaves his basement.
He was stuck. This is, remember everybody, 1989.
It's a world with a fish tank and a basement with porn.
And a dog door.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Notice I had my love voice on, so I was obviously impressed. You can tell when I got the hot
That's your love voice?
That's the love voice. Robin, you can tell I'm really putting on. I'm really I'm going to try to my baritone setting here. He always sounds as if he's trying his hardest to, I don't know, mock Barry White or something. It's so pathetically awful. I know it's a goof. Some people say it's a goof, right? It's a goof. No, it's not really a goof. He's actually really upset he's not the pretty girl. And the pretty girls doesn't belong there. He knows that. I think that's inherently the problem.
You were nuts over her.
Yeah, well, she's gorgeous.
I have no memory of this whatsoever.
And I was like,
Robin showing. Also, this is passive aggressive. Robin saying, "I don't remember this. Like, I think, she's nothing."
We're a Nutrisystem. Whoa! Forget it. You look great. You don't need Nutrisystem, do you? Really?
I need maintenance now.
Yeah, really. Excellent.
How long did it take you to lose the 15 pounds?
Yeah, how long did it take you?
It took six weeks.
Really?
Okay, sorry, condescending Robin. That.
How long did it take you to drop 300?
I know, seriously.
Yeah, it's always pot and kettle with her. It's so embarrassing when Robin gets in it because she's been yo-yoing for pretty much her entire career until she finally the string broke and the yo-yo has completely fallen.
Didn't test well.
It took
wow. 6 weeks.
Yeah, and
That's
I've been
amazing.
off it for 8 weeks.
Because don't forget, she's very thin to begin with. For her to lose 15 pounds in 6 weeks.
I don't know where she lost 15 pounds.
Everywhere.
But your breasts are so full.
No, they're not. They're
just a B cup.
I've lost them completely.
Oh, thanks. That's hashtag me too. But let's keep giving this fucker a pass. I can't.
She got in trouble years and years later for saying Greeks have big asses and big tits because she is half Greek. But she does I think her natural, I don't know what you call it, a comfort weight, but her natural body shape is to be curvy. I mean, nowadays people are paying to get booty, but at that time, I mean, she was short. She is short. It wouldn't take much for her to sort of get those curves. And in Hollywood standards, even if she was in decent shape, you'd always have to lose an extra 20. And on the Howard scale, you always get 10 pounds too much. You could lose a little. So,
oh my God, he was going on and on today on his show about weight in his belly. And I'm like, you're almost 70. Who cares?
Have a steak.
Plants.
She's a C+.
Right, very busted.
C+.
She really is.
Yeah.
All the girls on that show wear those like little bippy tops and they have flat stomachs and their breasts are tipping over.
Yeah.
Like shells. Like shells.
I think they all go to the same doctor. Dr. Bombay.
Gave them all the same contour.
Oh, clever.
Perfect.
Yeah.
For B cups. Aren't they?
Maybe. I don't know.
For such a thin girl to have B cups. How much you weigh now?
I weigh 110.
And have B cups and a 110 frame?
Come on. Even Cheryl saying that's fabulous.
Cheryl saying I take that.
I would like that for myself.
You know what's
All right,
funny
1-800-320
is that this was the show. Like, he did this, Jennifer Aniston aside, all the time. How much you weigh, honey?
How much you weigh?
What's your cup size? Not that I care, because...
And not that it really matters, actually. It's actually not about... someone told me about that years and years ago. Cup size, like if you say you're a cup... The cup is just an indicator of what? The separation? What? I don't understand.
It's just the... I don't know, like...
The hang? I don't know.
Like, the cup size is like how, I guess, how full you are, but like it'll be like a 32 is like you have a small around, that's the circumference type of around the strap.
Okay.
And then the cup is A, B, C, D, or in Robin's case, G.
Well, just remember the Lisa G, the fun they had with Lisa G when she said she was a double D or whatever. Yeah, something like that.
Really, all the cup. I mean, it all depends on what you weigh, how tall you are. All boobs look different on whatever shape and size you are. So when he did this stuff, it's like, who cares?
Yeah, well, he didn't really care. He didn't care.
Called the number and...
I got my dad actually was the one that he had lost 30 pounds, and my stepmother had lost.
Oh, so the whole family's on
the
there.
whole family, because he's on TV, so he had to.
Stepmother, where's your mom?
Your father's on TV.
He's still cutting off the guest, like even 30 years ago. Like there's no difference. He's still, you can't get to your answer fast enough. He's got to cut you off.
They're in LA.
Oh, no wonder she got that job.
Yeah, she's going to explain who her dad is. He's pretty famous.
Who is
he? Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's a pretty famous guy.
No wonder she was running from Stuttering John. She didn't want this brought up. Oh, they're in L.A. She was a Nutrisystem girl.
Yeah, the
But you have a
family of the
stepmom.
80s. What?
Your real mom is in L.A.?
No, my real mom's here.
Oh, she lives here, and your dad and your stepmom live in L.A.?
Right.
Your father's on TV.
Yeah, so he was.
What does your father do?
Out.
What's your father?
He's on a soap opera.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Which one?
Days of Our Lives.
I watched that one. Who is he?
He plays Victor Kiriakis.
Oh.
Him?
Yeah, he's the maniac devil on the show.
I don't know him.
Crazy.
Oh, enough about this, your father.
Well, see, now she's in the family business.
Yeah.
He was the one who told me about Nutrisystem.
Did you ever bark sexually?
Did I ever what?
What age did you lose your virginity?
Have you gone through
what? Did you ever bark sexually? So you were talking about her father, his career, and it just popped into your head to say, did you ever bark sexually?
It's like he has he's got his own bingo card of perversion.
Java during these years? What is going on?
Well, again, it's like he's got that lack of that attention span that he doesn't have. So all of a sudden, when she's talking, you can hear him. You can actually hear him not listening. She's just tuned out. And he's like, how can I get to perversion? Perversion, question number one, perversion. Do you bark? Do you get tied up?
Oh, no.
Have you reached the fourth wall? Well, you're very lovely. What can I say?
Exercise.
Come in here and tease me like this is ridiculous. You knew how to dress, too. That's exactly what I like. Shorts with those aerobic sneakers and the big white socks. Would you ever do a naked layout in Playboy?
Nope.
Would you ever pose naked in my office if I sketched you?
I don't think so.
She also has a very sensual pout.
This was at a time when Stern would actually have naked women in, and him, Jackie, Fred, Gary, they'd all start drawing, sketching nude. I think it's in Private Parts, or it might be in Miss America. I'm pretty sure it's the Private Parts of the book where he has pictures of whatever they drew, and it really is the worst kind of kindergarten chicken scratchings you've ever seen. He thinks he's Picasso.
My God, there's a chipmunk in my undies.
Oh.
Gary, quick.
It's in your ass. Crawling.
Call the
crawling.
ASPCA.
Yeah, get that animal out of
Last night.
There's an animal loose in my underpants. Do you have a stepfather also?
No, I don't.
Your mother never got remarried?
No.
Is your mother an actress?
She was. She's a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good thing you don't have a stepfather.
Why do you say that?
Because he'd be going nuts with you in the house.
He'd be under arrest, right?
Well, that's,
Like you walk around your...
that's normal. I
Yeah.
mean, seriously, he's so perverted and stupid.
Yeah, how much of this is perversion and how much of this is just like creepy,
Shock.
just well, yeah. Some of it's shock. Some of it is, and you got to remember Jackie's there, so Jackie is giving him stuff to ask her on the fly. You just can't see it, obviously. But how much of this is him just being a sick fuck?
I think that the sick fuck questions always were him. I don't think, Jackie was funny sick. Howard is sick. That's why he loves the stepbrother, stepsister porn and
so many years later.
I mean, yeah.
There seems to be a recurring theme in him whenever he's talking about jerked off to babysitter porn or stepdaughter porn, stepmother porn.
Nice. I wonder how his 3 daughters are doing in the house with growing up with a different dad. Yeah.
Panties, like trying to get ready for an audition. You know what I mean? Like parading around the house.
Right, reading lines.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, it was very nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Well, we didn't even find out her name,
Who
so
cares?
we know who to look for in the future when she becomes a big star.
So I know what name to scream out tonight when I have my pants wrapped down around my ankles. Yeah.
When Ralph's got behind you, Jesus Christ Almighty! It's cringeworthy.
I so badly hope in some weird universe she gets a hold of this clip and just realizes
she's on Instagram. You can send it to her.
She is so much better. Any woman is so much better than to hang out with a toolbox like this.
So keep in mind, everybody, she had nothing to do with him from thereafter because Friends obviously was huge, and then they have no interaction until. God, I don't think there's any interaction until well through the 2014. They all go on vacation together, and he hears from the year before that Kimmel goes on vacation, and that's what piques his interest. Like star fucking Howard at his most star fucking. Oh, how do I get in on that? How do I get the invite to go there? But I don't want to ask.
He was trying to star fuck when Andy Cohen was on, and he was talking about the fabulous vacations he takes with Sarah Jessica Parker, and he's like, "How do I get in on that?" And he was poking him. It seems like it's so much fun. No, Andy Cohen and Sarah Jessica Parker do not want to hang out with you and that dolt.
Yeah. So 2013, it was ramped up, and that was the Marcy Turk era when it started in earnest. Like the Getting Things Done 2013 was definitely where he was like, I'm going full star fucker mode, and this is so. And we will get to some of that.
Want to name her yourself, or you?
Can I give you a name? Can I give you a name?
Give me a name, Howard.
Kari. Kari.
Okay. You're so silly. What's your name?
Do you think he just looked out the window and saw a car?
Your name is Housey.
Hey, what's your name? Jennifer?
Jennifer Duty?
Yeah.
Are you a big fan of mine? Seriously, do you?
I am.
Really?
Big fan. Big fan.
Find me attractive?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
She didn't have to. She you know, that deep breath, that suppressing the vomit before she said, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
You look absolutely nuts.
I haven't been drinking.
Yes. No.
I'm being real. I'm watching. My mother's listening to this.
Hey, Mom, I'm kidding around. I really don't want it. I'm 35 years old. What would I see in a young woman
She
like
looks
this?
like his daughter. Come on.
Hey, if your mom looks anything like you, I'd like her too. Mom, if you're listening, I'd like you and your daughter. Don't feel left out, honey. All right, but I got to finish the rest of the commercial.
I think so.
Yeah, let me get this girl's resume for the movie. So how did we remember that she was the Jennifer?
I didn't. One of our listeners remembered because she had seen, I guess her father won an Emmy recently, a daytime Emmy.
Yeah.
And he saw the two of them together, and she remembered,
This girl had been on the show?
Yeah, it said that her father was Dr. Kyriakis.
Right.
It's a Victor, not Doctor, shithead. I know this because my wife watches the show.
How does he get a pass? This is one of thousands of... I mean, people have not even... That guy from Saturday Night Live, before his career even started, was ended. That Shane Gillis or whatever. And this gets a pass?
Yeah, it's just... there's two parts to that whole aspect of how he's been able to skate through. Number one, it's a character. I'm a character on the radio. It's just me. And this whole apology tour that he went on subsequently, not just with the book, but leading up to the years of the Getting Things Done thing, where he's just been able to go, that was not me. I've evolved. And the key word is evolved. And plus, he's got money. He's got enough money to go after you legally if you want to, but it's nothing. He's not doing anything illegal. He's just not getting called out by people in the industry for saying this guy's a fucking creep. He's not evolved, and not enough people are standing up and saying, no, this you don't evolve when you start star fucking and are a craven coward and throw out everything that made you famous and don't apologize to your fans for doing it. That's not evolving.
Now, all of a sudden, because he's going on vacation with these people, it's like forgotten. That's nice.
Yeah, exactly. I would not forget. And they're obviously he's
So if
made
Harvey
mention of it.
Weinstein, well, I mean, like, no, he's not a good example. But who is somebody who was in trouble for just like it's something comments hitting on people? I'm trying to think.
Chris, Morgan Freeman got a little flack there, but then Al Pacino, obviously Kevin Spacey. Charlie Rose lost his job. Bill O'Reilly, obviously. These are more higher profile, I suppose.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. But in terms
of talking and stuff, well, Matt Lauer, Jesus, shitload of them. But I mean, forget all that. The intern beauty pageants, the fact that they got sued by the interns at Sirius years later for not paying them, and the judge basically saying, let them get their own fucking coffee.
That was never mentioned. Old Howard TV episode where he brought in a girl from Buffalo, actually, who she wanted breast implants, and she had to get naked in front of her brother. They said you have to do a depraved thing in order for us to get you the breast implants. So, honey, you got to get naked in front of your brother.
Yeah.
And she was bawling, and they were
I remember that one.
hammering her. She was in tears, shaking and crying, and they would not relent. And Robin was the worst of them all and was just sitting there. She looked at Robin for a life preserver, and she just let her drown. It was the most awful segment I've ever seen. An example of what this whole thing should be about, and this guy skates.
Oh fuck yeah! The crystal clear stuff was also like that one. That one wasn't nearly as bad, but they can get all like a nest of vipers when they get one in, and those get girls naked, whatever the if you lose to Fred and this blah blah blah, the curtain's going to drop and you're going to see. Those would have been like early 2000s, I think 2003 maybe. Right. KC would have been on the show at that time as well. Yeah, those were cringeworthy. That one especially, God, that would be worth a playthrough. So the next clip is from a couple of years into Sirius, I believe, 2009, March 26th or so. And so this is I'll let you guys hear it.
Yeah. He sort of floated around. Yeah. You look like that's what you look like.
Jennifer Aniston's like really afraid of being seen. She's very private with her life. That's why she won't speak about going out with John Mayer, because now they broke up and now she was smart.
No, she doesn't have to.
Oh my God.
She actually went out with him.
Be private about your life.
No, it's not even to Oprah that I was with John Mayer.
How old do you think she has to be before it just becomes weird that she can't keep a dude?
She's become the girl now who will never successfully be in a relationship. It's like she's cursed. She's got that stink all over her.
I'd marry her tomorrow. Yeah. I would put up with all.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have that. She's got that stink all over her. He hates women so much, it's not even funny.
Yeah, and the more beautiful, the worse, and he wants to be them. Actually, I think that's inherently part of the whole perversion. He wants to be. How many times has he dressed in drag in the last 10 years? Enough times for Christmas cards and calendars and stuff with him and Beth. The Santa photos people have seen. We'll try to post them if we get a chance to, if we remember to. I think part of it is he hates them for being beautiful.
No, I bet you would, but for how long?
I don't know, as long as it takes for me to eat all the food.
Artie, you're so independent. The second she tells you what you got to be doing, right, you're going to be like, you know what, fuck you. I get $75,000.
Second she says, stop snorting heroin, you'll be
kick her to the curb.
So, I mean, I know you.
You're probably right.
Yeah. Please.
She'd be walking for cigarettes over the bridge.
She's
That's
just
my
becoming
goal.
that girl you bang and use it for publicity.
Yeah. I should have banged her when she came in here as that Nutrisystem chick. She was still chubby then.
She wasn't looking for any of us.
So I should have banged her. So
that pile of hairy shit has the nerve to say anything? Are you kidding me? His whole lower face is fatter than her body. He's disgusting.
Bowie is truly
disgusting. He looks like, you know, when you're a kid and you go into a dentist office and they have like the giant teeth on the counter to like show you what they're going to be doing. Like, this is what we're doing. That is his mouth constantly.
This is how you brush. With the big giant toothbrush that they show kids. Yeah. Bowie is revolting. He might actually be more revolting than Howard, or I'd say it's probably even. They're two of the most revolting humans on the planet. And for Bowie to say, I could have gotten her, that actually is more Me Too-ish for Bowie in this segment, because back in the day, they would, like, Bowie totally took advantage of girls coming in saying, hey, you want to get in on the show, you want to get on the show. And of course, they were like dish rag skanks, so they'd fuck anything. They'd fuck a lamppost if they could get on the show. So, but at the same time, it was like he was never afraid to use that, Bowie, certainly, because he was married at the time.
He wouldn't have had half of or more of women that he slept with if it wasn't for this show. Let's be honest. Look at him.
For half, read any.
That's so funny that she was in here back then. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
You know what the funny thing was, Howard?
There's like little facts that you read about her. Jennifer Aniston picks the olives out of her martinis because she says the sodium puffs up her eyes. And it's like...
the booze doesn't hurt.
Yeah, the booze has no effect.
Yeah, right, but you know, you read these little things in the paper and you go, honey, you're a little too worried about how you look.
Well,
Who
worries more about their fucking look?
I just listened to today's show today, 2/24/2020. Howard talked about looking like an Auschwitz skeleton, but still having a belly and being depressed about it. I'm not even joking. And he went on to say that his wife doesn't eat breakfast or lunch, but she eats dinner. And she wants to go on a goop fast of just like ladles of soup. And the Dr. Agus said it was a bad idea. But Beth only eats one meal a day. And he only eats 1 or 2 meals a day, but he can't get rid of the belly. Like, if he was liberated from Auschwitz, he said he would still have the belly. I mean, the nerve of him right now is out of control.
Well, the goop thing, for those who don't know, that's the Gwyneth Paltrow thing. I don't know exactly what it stands for. Is it an acronym, goop?
Stupid. That's what I know.
Good old orgasmic. I don't know what the fuck it, pussy. I don't know what it stands for, but it's a big scam actually. Most of the blind items and most of the people that talk about it, it's just Gwyneth Paltrow's horse shit, trying to keep her name out there. But if you look at any picture of Howard in the last 20 years, he's got nothing. He's a rail. He does look like he just walked out of Auschwitz, as Artie said. I'm quoting Artie.
He said, I am a skeleton. I have nothing to lose. I look like I was liberated from Auschwitz, but I still have a belly. And he was obsessing about this to his 250-pound co-host, who's in a glass box.
That's generous. 250. I think that. I mean, that's not generous. That's conservative. I mean, the thing is, since I don't even know how long, pretty much as soon as Private Parts went through that, that's when he really started getting into the image thing. He was always, since after Dee Snider gave him the little makeover, that was when he started getting more into like changing his look, which changed constantly, but it was always that hair, more poofy. But the whole body dysmorphia thing that we've talked about before on the old place, he must have some kind of eating disorder, and we know she does, Beth does, because he said it over the years. She doesn't eat very well.
They were describing today 2 eating disorders. I think everybody was alarmed and nobody even knew what to say because she barely eats. He doesn't eat. They're both starving. Yeah. He said if I'd lose any more weight or if I didn't eat any less, I'd pass out. I mean, what?
Your doctor is basically you need a fucking steak once in a while. You need red meat. You need some kind of protein that's not beans and what have you.
You're old and you're on the radio. Eat.
Yeah, eat. Yeah. How many? Yeah, you got one foot in the grave. Have a fucking souvlaki.
That's true. We know why the hood was up. She wasn't
That's
looking.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She obviously didn't think she was ready for camera.
She had an olive.
You know what the funny thing was about her when she came on here as a Nutrisystem chick? I used to always hit on those chicks, and I actually dated one of them. They were pretty hot. I remember when she came in, I was like,
really? You passed on her.
Well, you know what? She wasn't fully thin yet.
Yeah, she wasn't bad looking, though.
She was 110 pounds. I think that's pretty thin.
Yeah,
it's like a high
Bluey's
schooler.
standards. Bluey's standards were so high. He married a linebacker, and he's talking about who he could have gotten.
Yeah, and you know what? She looks like the type of chick, too. She gets a little too comfortable. She's going to pack on 20 pounds easily.
But she's never getting comfortable. Look, it's
Right.
been a long time.
No, she had to be all ready for John Mayer
Do
to fuck.
you think she's going to end up being like
so
Elizabeth
jealous.
Taylor?
He is so jealous of her boyfriends.
What's that?
He is so jealous of her boyfriends. It's the Justin Thoreau wedding. He's jealous of that. And now he's talking about John Mayer. He is so jealous of her because she has John Mayer.
And
be
John
honest.
Mayer, I think the scuttlebutt with him was that he went both ways, or does go both ways, doesn't he?
I mean, I think so. He's best friends with Andy Cohen. There's some sort of weird fuckery going on there.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing, everybody. The whole Sam Simon, Ralph Stamos thing, and the connection between them. Now, the Sam Simon there's no allegations. If you look online, Sam Simon's sexuality is one of the most closely guarded in terms of press coverage. But I don't think there's any doubt. There's no doubt in my mind that Sam Simon was at least bisexual. And Jennifer
I
Tilly
got
was just another-
confirmation that he was with Ralph. So.
Well, and that's one we can talk about another time. At any rate, let's keep going, everybody. There's only a few more seconds.
She was just wanting to have that picture taken.
They even said she's starving herself to be in the bikini for the ad. And she dropped her calories down to, what did they say in the ad?
200 a week?
No. Like something like... Normally, her intake is 1,700 calories. Like, she knows every calorie she's putting in.
And you don't, you fucking skeleton. You're counting out pecans and peanuts and almonds, and was it turkey meatballs? How many years ago was that?
And
you don't even hear about. You don't even hear. And what is it now? It's Metamucil, because he's clearly not shitting. He doesn't have enough fiber in him. What a fucking idiot! All these doctors, and he still doesn't know how to eat. He needs a food tutor. Like chess tutor, math tutor when he was younger, photography.
I just think about this.
He
called Dr. Agus over Beth wanting to do a fast.
There's a thing called Google, shithead. Go to Livestrong. Go to fucking WebMD.
Do you think it's a bad idea for my drug addicted, drunk ass wife to be going on a fast? Please email me back, Howard.
Call me back on the red line. You think Dr. Agus has his own hotline?
Oh my God. He's probably like this fucking idiot.
Cut it down to 1,200 calories. I think there are young black children in Nigeria get more nourishment than that.
I was going to say, how many calories was Tim taking on that thing a day, you think?
I forgot.
Yeah, Tim was doing the green drink, wasn't he? With Robin. That's what.
Yeah, he was. That's one of the shitty thing happened. But today too, Howard, I forgot to tell you. He said that
Go ahead.
He looks like a starving Ethiopian child with the distended belly.
Getting very many calories.
No. The guy fell down twice yesterday.
Oh,
Please.
stop it!
I think the window's blowing. She nicks salt. She doesn't. She won't even drink a glass of champagne.
Oh.
She,
Why does he know this?
Well, he's quoting an article. He's saying, or he's making some of this up anyway. But the funny thing at this time, this was Robin going through her. That was yo-yo going back down, like she was losing some weight, and pre-marathon, pre-15 foundation, she was losing a lot of weight, but basically she was going vegan. She went vegan really fast, but she got Tim Sabian to go on it, and he was miserable. And then it was Scott Salem who was losing weight just naturally, like cutting down his calories, going to the gym, and he lost something like 40-50 pounds or something. And everybody's saying at least he feels way better, and he looks happier. Tim Sabian looked miserable every time he was in studio, and they're like, get a burger, get some real food. And he had to go in and go, no man, I feel great, I have lots of he had to think of the word energy, and because Robin was there, and of course he was trying to go through it, but I feel bad for Tim.
Tim.
Yeah.
How long do you think I
Okay.
think she's going to last.
Too many rules.
Yeah.
Too many rules.
I can just tell you, I've never met Jennifer Aniston except for a brief time on this show. I can't imagine the nightmare of listening to her rattle on about the business, about Brad Pitt, about paparazzi, about privacy. Just shut the fuck up.
It's like one
I
day.
need you to be quiet now. I need to concentrate on me.
One day he woke up and said,
Oh,
"You know,
my God. Because the 5 hours a day that you're on the radio talking about yourself isn't enough, you fucking old queen.
This is probably the best clip to illustrate how much he was such a cunt to her. So,
driver's license, and yep, I'm Brad Pitt.
Yeah, and you're annoying.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. You're some actress from Friends.
I'm still Brad Pitt.
And you can't even act in anything else but Friends. Because you're horrible.
so this that was my favorite. I used that as an intro because it was just too good to leave alone. And
You're horrible.
You're horrible. How many movies has she been in? And most of them used to make money. And not, blockbuster stuff, but they'd cost $20 million and then they'd make 40 or 50 because they're all just date films.
Listen, anything she's ever done, I've never been blown away by, but I genuinely, find her films amusing. I've watched a bunch of them. They're fine. There's nothing like Academy Award winning I find about any of them, but I find her acting pleasant. She's nice to look at. And I like the way she delivers lines. So fuck off.
If you look at her IMDb and you look at his, it really just looks like what's when you get on a broken link on the internet and it says 404 file not found. That's Howard's resume on IMDb.
There's a picture every day of Jennifer Aniston like leaving someplace, like trying to look sexy in a sexy dress after she just
trying to look sexy.
Oh, kind of like Beth when she calls the paparazzi when you leave dinner because nobody's paying attention to you.
That was a great blind item.
Sexy.
She does after she just dated some guy. Like,
well, yeah, she's back on the market.
Call me nuts, but I feel bad for that chick. I mean, like she was with Brad Pitt, the hottest guy on the planet. And
now you're right. He absolutely is the hottest guy on the planet. It's all about the men for him. Like it's nothing about the women. He feels bad for her because she's not with him, right? I feel bad for her because she's by herself.
This is the best part about listening to all this and going back and forward in time. You just get to hear all the flavor of gay that he has unleashed upon his audience that they didn't notice because they were too busy looking at the boobs and the women. So they don't hear these subtleties. Well, here you go. He is sad for Jennifer Aniston because she lost that hot guy.
He's the Baskin Robbins of gay. 31 gamers. Let's keep going.
Nowhere to go after that.
Yeah, now she's like dating comedians and
scrubs.
At this time, I think she was with David Spade briefly, and he was sort of friends with her and Brad Pitt in the early 2000s. He went to their wedding actually when they got married. I think they did get married, didn't they?
You want to talk about like the luckiest guy in Hollywood for dating women? It's that guy.
It's David Spade. Yeah, that guy's a cockroach. Like, he looks like some as Woody Allen would say, something you'd find in a live bait shop.
I think Pete Davidson is going to be like the next David Spade of this generation.
Yeah, he doesn't kill himself.
I don't get it either.
Scrubs, and she can't even get him to stay with her.
The scrubs don't even stay.
She's like the girl now that's got that stank on her. Like she just can't keep
you
a guy.
You lost Brad Pitt.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, I'll fuck you.
I just want to see what he left.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck you a couple times. Then I'm gonna leave you. The leftovers. I've always imagined what she'd be like to go out with, and I'd see her as like a major pain in the ass, very controlling.
I know you said
very controlling.
What and. Here, why would you even assume that? You saw her once on your show before she was famous as a kind woman who was hawking Nutrisystem, not in an obnoxious way at all, and answered all your inappropriate, ridiculous questions about her sex barking. So what would make you think that she's some controlling anything?
I think
what would
in
give you an indication?
And Chris Rock in 2000 did an interview, which I had it on my old channel. I may re-upload it because it's a good clip, where Howard was at a dinner and Chris Rock was at the dinner, and some dinner, like same place, same restaurant. And there's a table with Gwyneth Paltrow and I think Courtney Cox, or that crowd basically. And Chris Rock went over to see them, And then they were talking about like Howard's, and he was trying to basically tell them, oh, Howard's he's an all right guy, and they're going, you should be courteous, and they're like, to him, and so he never got over that. He to this day like still has that.
I remember that exact clip. I remember that episode, and they looked at him like Satan.
Yeah,
like.
And
we are not inviting Satan to our table.
Right. And nothing to do with his looks. I'm sure it had a little bit to do, but mostly because he was such an asshole. Like he was a complete asshole.
Because he was saying things like this all day, every day.
Right. And so really what it was I can't get into that sandbox, so I'm going to fucking talk shit about them endlessly. So
said about her before.
You
think she's going to change that attitude?
I don't know. She's so uptight about being photographed and someone's going to discover us and we have to keep
you can't tell anyone.
He can't even.
He has to be a shot on the right side.
It took how long for Howard 360 to come out? I mean, he cannot be seen unless he's in his most pristine queen condition.
Yeah, you always get that one profile shot, the Sears catalog shot, and then also I think
God, think of
right,
some of his magazine covers. I mean, they are just
douche chills. You get douche chills with just a glance. Don't even look at them for very long. Just kind of flash, get a
just
peripheral
a wig
look at
and
them.
a trench coat,
fondling a microphone as if it's a cock, and looking deep, like we're trying to look deep, like there's a half a synapse firing in that fucking noggin of his. But here's the thing, when he left AGT, which was 2015, I believe, the spring of 2015, that contract had expired, and they didn't re-sign him. They just didn't want him anymore. And he said something like, I had problems. They wouldn't shoot me on my good side. They shot him constantly because it was the same camera angles. It's a show. The camera angles don't really change.
Is you kept jumping up on stage.
like a GAYLORD. And flouncing around. That show was the best for GIFs or GIFs, whatever you call them, animated GIF. Like that show was the GIF that kept giving every time he went up there. We'll have to put those on the Facebook page.
What do you think? You're dating her?
I think they once did an interview with Vince Vaughn, and he was like, every minute she's like, oh, I don't want them to find us, and I don't want them to know, and we can't admit we're seeing each other. And
well, remember she did that, she started those interviews where you go, so just like Kate Hudson with Lance Armstrong, she started that stuff. Well, I hear you're dating Vince Vaughn. Oh, I don't know.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
you don't know who you're dating?
About?
You mean you're a grown woman, you don't know who you're dating?
Yeah, really.
You didn't know that you bought a stripper a Benz?
You didn't know? Yeah, Beth. That was the funny part when he started dating
Angie
Beth.
Everhart, or
they didn't.
You took her
or Robin Givens.
Wait, what?
How many times were they talking about? Oh, did you ever date a black woman? Yes. Whether she famous? No. And like he took a second, he goes no, and this was after the fact. It did happen, but it was just anyway. That's a whole other discussion.
Yeah. Oh, God forbid people want to hide their dating life. You don't know what that's like, right? Because post divorce, in between sucking Ralph's dick, you were trying to figure out who you're hiding from, and who you can get on the beard line. So shut the fuck up.
He went to beards.com. He was shopping around. It's like Amazon's got their own beard department. Well, this is the thing. He, for the longest time, he kept such a tight lid on Beth, even. If people recall, like back in the day, it was just my girlfriend. And that's so
even
nebulous.
Before then, she was photographed leaving his apartment, and they... mysterious blonde woman. And then he hung out with her at a Grammy party with Rob Zombie, and he lied and said they were talking about Rob Zombie's girlfriend, Sherry. It wasn't his wife at the time.
Yeah, I believe Gary Puppet
really
has
talking about Beth. So for him to cast this type of criticism against her, again, pot calling the kettle black, full of shit, hypocrite, and why we're doing this. So continue.
And not only not only that, but the fact is you go on now years later and say we've been together since blah blah blah, but there's a good chunk of that or those early years you acted like you had no girlfriend and you had no whatever steady relationship. So why are you romanticizing it as some kind of great romance?
I don't want to say. And
what do you mean?
And that only puts more pressure on it. It's just, like, you know what? If I was with her, I'd fuck her hard, and then I'd say, you know what, honey?
Fuck her in public.
Now, you go out now and tell everyone I just fucked you hard. That's your.
Do straight people talk like this? Because I have never. I'm thinking of other straight radio guys who were shock jocks. They don't speak about sex like this, even when they're joking around or talking about another celebrity or pontificating about the act of fucking another celebrity. They don't speak like this. This does not sound straight. I'm just saying it doesn't.
Well, okay, let's take
radio
out of
natural.
Let's take radio out of the equation, all right? Straight guys don't talk like this. We talk about when we're still in our single days, of course, we talk about things we did, but we try to make it funny. We're trying to do storytelling. We're not saying I fucked her this way, I fucked her that way. You don't even say fuck. You say, well, I had her, upside down and whatever. We define gravity and the chandelier came and whatever. You're doing, and some of it's for jokes, but this sounds like someone trying way too hard to put off this attitude. Like you said, when Artie was still in studio, he tried to come off like Super He-Man. And when he left, it was all about, the masculinity drained out of the room.
But it just comes off so disingenuous. It just bombs.
Yeah.
Punishment.
Well, just saying
I'm going to fuck you on the lawn.
Well, Jay, it's great to be on your show. Yes, tell me. I heard you fucked Howard Stern really hard. That's right, Jay. And he told me to tell you he fucked me so hard I can't breathe. I would change her up. I mean, I would just be...
change her up?
Yeah, he's going to change her attitude.
And of course, we have to throw Jay Leno into this because your jealousy and hard-on for him is popping through your disgusting leather pants.
Yeah.
Very, very different with her.
Oh, sure you would.
Oh, Robin, you don't know. Then I'd paddle her like a young African-American girl.
I'm going to beat you like
what?
an African girl.
I'm not sure if this was right after a story that Robin broke about some abused women in Africa, in some African country, and so he just it might have been a big, huge news story at the time, and how they were beaten and raped and abused. Anyway, it's just coming out of his mouth. I don't know.
If I just told
handicap one to boot.
If I told somebody, like a reporter, that we were dating, that would be fucking her publicly, I think.
John,
you know what? She should date you, Artie.
Oh, is this Aniston we're talking about?
So much more clever.
I think you have Howard's cum all over your face. Can you tell us about that? Yes. Howard's made me change. I want you to know he came all over my face. That's right, Jay. That's why I wore my cum necklace.
Not only is it cum on my face, it's on my dress.
Yes. If you notice, everything is ruined by Howard. I think that's really great.
Yeah, Stan, you got bukkake by Howard Stern.
Bukkake, that's the first time we said that.
It's in my hair. It's my styling gel.
First time we said that on the Tonight Show.
Hey, with Howard, it's always pussy.
Remember when George Takei, who was, by the way, George, I play this out of love. When George was talking about Jennifer Aniston, do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Let me refresh your memory.
Jennifer Aniston is cunt.
Wow, George.
I mean, just play this to her. Just send it to her Instagram and see what she see the next time they go on vacation. Yeah,
it's so
it's vile. It's vile. But one thing you've noticed, Artie, throughout the whole tenure, he never wavers. He always thinks she's hot, and he always thinks that she's. He doesn't really goof on her, and you find that about Artie. When Howard's got these things about Jay Leno, Artie doesn't really join in because, number one, he's in the comedy world and he knows what Jay Leno doesn't probably deserve that fucking animosity. So let Howard get it through his system. Also, he knows it's not very funny.
No.
When he does that Jay Leno shit.
Man,
I remember when he said this.
Jennifer Aniston is stupid and ignorant.
So there you go.
Don't really mean that.
I don't mean it at all. I'm on the Howard Stern show.
You know, it's great to have you here, Jennifer. And when I walked backstage, I thought Howard Stern was doing you in the ass. You're into some public ass play, huh? Yes, Howard wants everything out in the open. He doesn't want my...
He wants everything out in the open.
Ass
like what?
play.
Ass play.
He's
a fruit. He's a fruit. Let's go to the next one. I think this is just a little bit more of a...
Yeah, but he was allowed to have his camera.
Right.
First of all...
Okay. So this is from when he went to the actual wedding, I think. Hold on. Let me see if I got this right.
So after he got over his jealousy of Brad Pitt and John Mayer...
Yeah, there's a clip. I don't know why I don't have. Actually, no. This is a reading. Actually, let me go through this from marksfriggin.com, and the date is 2013, Monday, May 13th. So Jimmy Kimmel visits, and it's somewhere here. Okay, all right. Okay, Howard said they spent 15 minutes talking about Robin at dinner. Jimmy said he talked about her last night with Huey Lewis. Howard said Jimmy has moved to 11:30 at night on ABC, and he seems to have a lot of celebrity friends. Howard said he thinks it's part of his job now. Howard said it's like they have only famous friends exclusively. Howard said they're always hanging out with famous people. He's the darling of Hollywood. So he definitely was jealous of Jimmy at this point, because Jimmy, like it or not, had a TV show. He had a late night TV show, and even it was getting a 1.1 rating, he's schmoozing. Jimmy does like to schmooze. He's worse than Howard. He was always but he never hid that. I don't know. Maybe some people might beg to differ that he's a little bit of a phony, Kimmel, but I seem to think he always
hides it better.
Yeah, I suppose. So it says here, okay. Molly and Justin. Yeah, okay, so that was that. So basically he's basically bringing up the fact that Jimmy can star fuck. And so that's where this clip comes into play. It's eventually in 2014 they actually start star fucking. Let me just change the order here.
I have to star fucking funny thing was when that ASL or ALS challenge, that ice bucket challenge was going on. Yeah. Beth nominated Molly and like two other people. Nobody took her up on that nomination, and nobody nominated her. She just did it for herself.
Nobody gave a fuck. And then if you look up Howard Stern ice bucket challenge, he puts a glass of water on himself and he does the ooh. It's about the gayest thing you've ever seen him prance around in those fucking blue board shorts that he's had for 20 years. But at any rate, the following year he gets to go on vacation and he barely talks about it. But I think also he got a little bit in a little bit of trouble later talking about their wedding, because I think Beth went on Andy Cohen and said, we are not allowed to talk about stuff. This is when she was still with Justin Theroux. But here's the star fuck. This is King Baby acting normal when he's star fucking Aniston.
Who knows what he means?
I think we're on to it.
Yeah. Dusty, you're on the air. Dusty.
Hey, Howard, how you doing?
Good old Dusty from New York. Yes, Dusty.
Hey, Howard, how you doing? Just checking in. I saw rumors that Courtney Cox was on the trip with you, and I'm just wondering why you didn't mention her.
I did mention her. I said...
you did?
I thought I did.
No.
Oh, maybe I didn't. Yeah, it was me, Jimmy and Molly, and Jennifer and Justin and Courtney. That's who was
Courtney
staying.
was there by herself?
Courtney was there solo. She's got a boyfriend, but he had family business, and but she was there solo. Yeah.
Have you heard from David since the last time he called in? I mean, we have.
She's talking about David Arquette, and at that point, I think was this the point where he was sort of brushing him off because he wasn't famous enough, and David Arquette called him out on it.
Right, and he called him drunk on the show, and basically said, why are you being friends with her? She's never supported your show. Like,
yeah. And that might've been the last time you saw David on the show. I'm pretty sure
he was going through a really rough time too, and upset about the breakup. And he sounded like he was in a bad place, and he called Howard to the forefront. Even if he was drunk, it wasn't a lie what he was saying.
Yeah.
I heard from him since he was talking.
David, I heard from him. In fact, I got a note from him just like a day or two ago.
A note.
All these notes.
It's an email. Email is a note. It's the same as like some fucking. You just imagine this bottle floating up to Chimney Manor, and like look, it's from David.
Thank him. He sent me a lovely present.
There you go. Me too. The stationery?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got so much of that stationery.
That I'm never going to use.
You need to store it?
I'm going to sell it. Howard Stern Stationery. Another buddy of mine sends me that stationery too.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, so I got.
Is it the trans buddy or the cop buddy or the guy in the FBI buddy?
Or the guy who married a hooker and they covered up her past buddy, or
bunch of it. I've got enough for like the next 50 years.
Do you have this image of Howard like with this photocopied like stationery where it just says, "Hey," and it blank, and I had a great time with you and blank. And he just uses the same one because he's too fucking lazy to actually write it out for himself.
You can see Howard Stern pads all over the place. But yeah, I got tons of it.
How's Courtney looking?
Courtney's looking real good. I mean, I had a nice time. It was one of the most mellow, relaxing vacations, and I was a nervous wreck because we were guests of Jennifer and Justin. Because
I have a hair system, a fake wife.
And I'm with people that actually look good.
I have to maintain this entire hair system. Oh, I forgot to mention Tony Coburn came along.
my blue board shorts are disintegrating because I've had them too long.
I can't consume calories or drink or smoke weed. I'm a good time.
They didn't have any turkey meatballs at the place.
I was like, gee, I don't know if I could be at someone's house because I like to call the shots. I'm so damn picky about what I like.
He's like that kid who won't go for a sleepover because he's like, I don't know where their bathroom is. I don't know if I can pee in that urinal. What if a snake comes up and grabs me?
Thinking what I don't like, and I don't want to be a complainer. And, you know, I've never really, there's not one person in this universe, I think, who has ever said, hey, why don't you come stay at my house?
I wonder why. Remember that clip I have on my channel about no one sits down with him at a party and he gets all pissed off because no one wanted to be around him?
No one ever invited me to his house. He's the worst.
So when she offered the house, when Justin contacted me, I was like, wow, I don't even know if I could handle that kind of graciousness and generosity. But I went, and boy, I got to tell you,
I called her fat and stupid. And
I told her she had the stank of failure all over her, and I can't keep a man.
I wasn't sure that I could go since I trashed her so much for being unable to keep a man for a decade plus.
But I think in this case, he's actually being very honest about the fact that he cannot be anywhere where he does not maintain 100% control of the surroundings, the dinner, the food, everything, because it's all about control with him.
Well, you even hear when he talks about when he has people over his, Hampton's home and having house guests, everything is on a schedule. And Ralph complained too about, you vary from that schedule. You ask for a glass of water or a meal outside of the times that they saying they're serving the meal. He goes ballistic. You have to have the house shut down. You have to have everything a certain way. So I can imagine that going on a celebrity sleepover is going to be very hard for him.
Yeah. It was nice giving up control.
Does this sound like a guy who's allowing someone to be he's allowing himself to be the power bottom? It was nice to lose control.
Have you ever stayed, obviously, at other people's homes or families' homes, went on vacation? These thoughts have never entered my head. I can't imagine he's a good guest.
Well, this is well, actually, I can imagine he'd be on especially because it's a star fucking vacation. He'd be on his P's and Q's because he wants to go back on these fucking things. He's not. It's ironic enough. He just there because they're stars, and if they weren't stars, it's all, he wouldn't be there. And how many times does he ask a guest, "Do you have any famous friends? Do you have any famous friends?" He was asking that like 30 years ago. Ironically enough, it's just he always wanted.
Yeah, but he's always faking on, and you know what I mean? Like, he must be terrible in conversation if he's always acting and being this clown, this performer. He's not a real human being in any sense of the word. And his marriage is a sham, and I couldn't imagine how that went. I'm almost jealous we can't know how that went.
Yeah, you'd have to get like a writer, the ex-writer on the Kimmel show to ask, what they really think and stuff. But Kimmel's just a fucking sycophant. At this point, after all that drama with his baby and Howard talking about how, where was my party, when he went over and he went to L.A. and he was getting pissed off.
Yeah, his
and saying,
baby had a heart condition and almost
heart
died.
Condition. Yeah, but Howard's going to make a joke. He was trying to make light of it. And I thought, Jesus fucking Christ. That if I were Kimmel, I'd tell him to go fuck himself. And don't lose my number.
More people. That's as much as I think he's disgusting for making this turnaround. Mm-hmm. I think I'm more, like I said, I'm embarrassed for Jennifer Aniston and Jimmy Kimmel for not saying, you know what, this guy's a clown, a fraud. We don't really need him around unless it's to have him around to troll him and for the entertainment of them being so stupid.
Well, it was the other thing Norm used to say, that he said it in a clip about Chevy. He said, look, if you like Howard, he'll like you, and it'll be over. And that's if it's that simple, then people have already sussed it out. You just basically got to get along with him and he'll shut the fuck up about you. And if you're famous in a way that he's not famous, because he's rich, but he's not really famous anymore, Stern. So he's got money, but he's got the celebrity is gone. However, Jennifer Aniston's got a new show on, is it Apple, I think?
Yeah,
Apple
it's
TV?
that, and it won I think it won an Emmy this year, or morning radio, not morning radio, morning news, something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but yeah, Apple TV.
So when he was on terrestrial radio, at least he had fame. He was still, people could still hear him. Now he's on a glorified podcast. He's still in awe of these people who have TV gigs and movie gigs, or let's call it, streaming gigs anyway. And they get paid shitloads of money that he wants a piece of, and he just wants to be. But at any point, when someone's star starts flagging, he drops them like a fucking hot potato. So one of the installments we're going to be doing, by the way, everybody, Ellen, we're going to do Lena Dunham, we're going to do, although I don't consider her a celebrity anymore.
And you're very poignant in saying that. Stars fading out and he'll drop you, like the Jessica Hans, the what's his name?
We just said David Arquette.
David Arquette,
right
the Dee Snyders.
Dee Snider's a huge example, absolutely. And so if you're not, it's not about being friends with them. It's about being what can we get from being with you? What kind of shit can we, famous stuff. So anyway, we only have a couple more clips.
It was nice because Jennifer calls the shots, and Justin. It's their home. Right. They tell you when you're going to eat. They tell you if we're going out to dinner. They tell you if we're going to eat at the house. They tell you, and I liked it. I thought I wanted to.
So he really is just he's not a type A type personality. He really needs to be told you're going to be fucking doing this, and that's the way it is. He folds in the face of any actual adversity. So he's at someone's house, he is going to do it. And that's what you should, when you're at someone's house, you kind of have to go to their schedule. That's what normal humans do. And he's the only reason he's going to acquiesce is because he wants to go back. That's the only reason. He's dying inside saying, what the fuck is this food? I don't want to actually eat solid food.
No, was because, usually you go away and you stay at a resort.
Yes.
And you stay on the resort.
Absolutely.
You do not go to town.
Oh, no. Especially in Mexico.
No immigrants near me.
No.
No. I don't.
So I wondered about that.
So the next clip is about getting a massage with Jimmy and Justin.
Surrounded by machine guns and cannons. Its own country.
Dome.
We had a blast. And when I say a blast, for me a blast is just having time to read and relax and sleep. Like I got there, I was a nervous wreck. When I got there was
read, relax, and sleep is a blast. This guy is in a constant coma. I swear to Christ. He is
TM. This is just horseshit. There was one time where I guess Mary McCormick and her husband stayed over at their house, and they talked. She actually discussed it with Andy Cohen about we did TM together, we did blah blah blah, and she's not sure if she should talk about it and this and that. I'm thinking, I think TM at this point is just nap time. I don't believe he actually meditates. When he says he's meditating, it's really just goofing off, kicking back in a chair somewhere. That's the way I see it. Yeah.
Loud music. And I went to my wife, and right away we're switching rooms and blah, blah, blah. And I'm
my God, the music lover.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
There's music. So, after my wife calms me down, which she knows how to do.
My wife. It's always my wife. It's not Beth. We know who she is, but you can't say her fucking name. Who's?
He
I mean,
forgot
yes.
it.
Yeah.
Jeanette.
Yeah.
It's like I'm Hannibal Lecter and they have to tie me to a board for a while. We figured out that there was a speaker behind the room. I turned that speaker off, and then it was completely quiet. And it was nice.
Okay.
And I was,
Excellent.
Yeah.
I worried about you. I wanted you to go have a good time.
Oh, my God.
And I'm glad you did. Because then like I said, I was like, oh, it was a house. There was no resort around him. How did he do?
And it was so fucking relaxing because everybody there was chill. Like,
what's that? Go ahead.
It's just so ridiculous. Oh my God, it was a house. I wondered, how do you do? It really is like sending your kid off to their first sleepover.
Yeah, or camp for the first time. Yeah.
very mellow. Like, no one was an asshole. Especially me. I can turn into a giant asshole.
I was going to say, usually you're the asshole.
See, Robin knows. Like that was one of the few times you'll ever hear. And this clip is from maybe 2014, I think. So that's Robin going like, yeah, you're a shithead. You're a complete shithead when you go out. But she has to couch it in such a way that it's not really negative. You have to wait for him to say it, then you can pile on.
My wife, you know, my wife said to me last night, she goes, man, you were so much fun. You were so loose. She goes, I'm so proud of you. How relaxed you were on vacation and loose, because she knows what a nightmare I am. I mean, for real.
Right.
I'm a nightmare. And I know I'm a nightmare to myself and I'm a nightmare to everyone around me. And she was like, you were fun. I go, yeah.
Oh my God, how gay did he get on this vacation?
Big time. Just
You too.
Yeah, I was proud
Because
of me.
generally you're biting your lip even if you're putting
Generally, you're biting the pillow.
Jinx, buy me a Coke.
up with things.
Yeah. No, I had a
So
good
you
time.
really let go and had a good time.
And if I'm not mistaken, no, she might. Does this sound to you like Robin's out of studio at this point? Because there's a disconnect. The audio doesn't sound like they're in the same place.
It doesn't sound uniformed.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
I got there.
So do you think she's in ISDN right now?
I think in this particular clip she might be, because when she did, it was 2013. Yeah, I think she's still, if this is 2014, because this is before the wedding, she was definitely at home. She was doing the ISDN thing.
Okay.
Jennifer says to me, you want a massage? I go, from you?
Absolutely.
That's horrifying. The thought is horrifying. A female hand's touching him.
Get that stink away from me. Get your stinky woman hand off of me.
Get that stank away from me.
She goes, no, there's a massage. I said, yeah, I do want one of those. And I got one, medium strength.
Because he's a complete fag.
You didn't
Or
ask
else
for
my bones would split in half.
He'd be like, you know, in the interview with the vampire, when the sun hits the vampires, they turn into this ash. They just fade away. You can see the guy massaging him and flakes coming off, looking like foundation or something.
No, it was really funny. Me, Jimmy, and Justin, we had a group massage.
Guys massage for 3 guys?
3 guys were we were all in
Sounds like a full night.
the same room, but a big giant room, and it was funny. Somebody was
all
snoring.
facing each other?
No one looked
Somebody
at each
was
other.
snoring. You didn't know who?
I was saying, who of you was snoring? How could you sleep through that?
You don't go to sleep during a massage?
How could you sleep with an erection the size of a tent pole with this guy massaging you?
Who of you is sleeping?
Come on, turn over on your backs, guys. Let's see who's up.
Normally do, but this one was very aggressive. There's no way you could sleep. She was twisting me and turning me around.
Okay. Now we're gonna make it a female masseuse or masseur. I can't remember. I think masseuse is the woman.
But this guy Justin, he's in some shape. He's muscular, like crazy. So I was in pretty good shape.
I'm guessing Jennifer Aniston didn't give you that massage.
Now, Howard's got his legs look like rolled up sarongs, and he's saying I was in pretty good shape compared to this guy.
Say, weren't you glad that you had gotten yourself into shape?
Oh, I was
since
so
he's
glad.
in such good shape.
In fact, Beth walked by. She said, I peeked in the room to see what you guys were doing. And she said, she was like, I really want to see Justin because, you know, Justin's something to look at.
You're a fag and I'm sick of being with you.
Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. When we laugh, it's for real. We're not cackling on purpose. We trust us. So the next clip is from their wedding, which they attended, and apparently it was just like Howard's. No cell phones. It was a no cell phones edict. So everybody had to put them in a bag, and they were returned, or they might have even had that thing where
they couldn't film those couples group massages. I mean, could you imagine the boner he popped during that? I can't even.
So
that's probably his mental jerk off material for years to come.
Oh, that went in the spank bank for the gay spank bank.
That's what it's called. Yeah.
So they went. So this is the story about, and this is what he got in trouble for, talking about going to their wedding and being told to make a speech and blah blah blah. And then he was upset because they wouldn't allow him to take his phone. So this is just the last two clips.
Yeah, but he was allowed to have his camera.
Right.
First of all, I'm afraid to even talk about that wedding because everyone is on top secret lockdown.
Yeah, but
how's it different from his own? When he got married, it was the same thing. There are only a few paparazzi pictures. My favorite one is Beth going, "Bye," like waving to the crowd drunkenly with that handler.
Even when he talked about his wedding on the aftermath, he's like, we tried to keep it under wraps, but, and then he went on David Letterman and was like, we had this person at the wedding, Billy Joel serenaded us. You need to give your wife a wedding like that. And David Letterman looked at him like the biggest clown. Like, no, thank you. We don't need that to say that we love each other. Celebrities don't mean love, you idiot.
Yeah.
Pull out now.
It's over now.
I don't know.
I think it was just so they could have a nice ceremony and not have it interrupted by, paparazzi and so forth.
I don't know. It's so...
What was going on there that you shouldn't talk about?
I don't know. Whatever you say is wrong. I mean, it's so top secret.
But wait a minute. I mean...
Yeah, as opposed to his 112% controlled life, where he's got people walking him, armed guards walking him to in an empty corridor to an elevator, to service elevator, so he can get to the
We have
Bat Cave.
to lock down the serious hallways at 4 a.m. I mean...
I don't really care about Opie one iota, but that one video with Club Soda Kenny going lockdown is great. That is one of my favorite
so
videos.
fantastic.
Were they doing illegal things?
No. But I mean, not at all. I gave that speech. Justin had contacted me and said, "Would you speak?" And then I went to bed. Oh no, I don't want to speak.
See, this is weird to me.
Writing it for me. Go ahead.
I can't imagine that somebody they hung out with once on vacation who previously trashed their wife for over a decade said, you know what? I want Howard Stern to speak at our wedding. Was he some sort of super fan? I'm not sure.
I think Justin was a super fan, I think, without question. And that's why that happened. Why they allowed it, I think, because Aniston knew at that point they'd already been with them before. So she knew, look, asshole, you want to come here, that you're going to go. We hold the power. They knew as they were star fuckers, they would do anything to fucking get invited to that. So they would acquiesce to whatever demands they wanted. No phones, no pictures. You don't talk about it. You don't say anything. And then when they got on the air and started talking about it, they got in shit because Beth, when she went on the Andy Cohen show later, we don't have the audio, but I'll try to find it for another time maybe, or I'll put it on my channel. That way people can listen for themselves. She said, we got in a little bit of trouble and we won't be basically invited to Starfuck anymore if we keep talking about it. So
you can't say no when somebody says
a friend asks
a guy's getting married.
Yeah.
But I was like, and so I tantrumed for like 3 days.
Of course.
I go, there's tons of people who know them better than I do.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So I got up and I bitched about that they took away my cell phone when I came in. I was outraged. I said, I don't want to take a picture of you guys. Why can't I have a cell phone?
He would have done nothing but take pictures of him with Justin. It would have been nothing but him and Justin all night, and Orlando Bloom.
Also, though, I kind of feel bad for him in the sense if he was asked to speak. I know I would have written a note probably on my iPhone or something. I wouldn't have written it out on a piece of paper. I mean, Right?
Or if you're such a gifted orator, you just remember what you have to say. I did a speech at my best friend's wedding, impromptu, and slayed the room because it was just speaking from the heart. But when you're some phony and you don't really know these fucking people, you'd need someone to punch up your script and write for you because you need someone to write your every thought coming out of your mind, out of your mouth.
Imagine the tantrum he threw when he found out he couldn't have his phone.
I'm sure it was actually not 3 days. I'm sure it was just him ranting constantly. I'm just like, what the fuck? I want my phone. I want my phone. Because that the two of them, without their phones, they're naked.
And I said, the irony is I've been away on vacation with those two, and they take pictures every fucking minute.
They're constantly shooting.
Yes, they're constantly shooting pictures. But if I take a picture, it's like I'm committing a sin. I didn't want to bring my cell phone in. I got up. I said.
So what are you bitching about? If you couldn't have your cell phone and you didn't want to bring it, you shouldn't have a fucking problem with it, asshole. Yeah.
I want to take my cell phone out. This is my whole speech. I want to take my cell phone so I can call the driver so I can get the fuck out of here after I give the speech.
That's someone you want at your wedding.
Which everybody thought was very funny. But I was serious.
Well, we know.
Going cuckoo for 10 minutes. But then I calmed down and I talked about, I said, this whole everything, it was always called a birthday party. Whenever you got emailed about the party, it was the birthday party.
Right.
They're so secretive, they even had the wedding on a Wednesday.
Right, everybody.
Didn't he and Beth have a weekday wedding? Wasn't it a weekday?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But he said it couldn't possibly be a wedding.
Because nobody gets married on a Wednesday.
Of the week.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is...
I complimented
Here we go.
Justin's mother on raising such a wonderful son.
You really like
that? I've only met twice.
Love him.
Yeah.
I love him, and I told Jennifer she deserves a guy like this because, after all, she's been very sweet and generous with us. Very nice person. I said, but Justin, I said, and his body. I get up, I said.
His body.
His abs, his ass. I said, look at him. I said, there is a... I said, oh, my goodness. I'm giddy over him.
Oh. So for anybody who thinks that we are...
exaggerating or... deluded,
making this shit up, here you go.
Right, there's the only laugh track is Robin.
So much evidence of fruitiness, it's not even funny.
it's like an avalanche. Try to think of John Doe's apartment in Seven with all the notebooks. Like if you wanted to know the full layout of why he's closeted, this is stuff that comes out. This stuff comes out unsolicited.
I think about when Mario hits the block and all the fruit and coins.
The mushroom.
Although Orlando Bloom blows him away.
Yeah, all of a sudden,
yeah.
You're cheating on Justin.
Wow.
Wow.
No, but anyway.
So now I know your type.
Yes.
Oh.
I like him dark-haired.
Okay, that kind of concludes the amount of clips we got for this one, guys, because following this, there's an interview he does in L.A. with Jennifer Aniston when they did that little trip. And it's not particularly noteworthy because she was just plugging her show. But according to the Mark's Friggin' Rundown, it says... Jennifer said this was when they made the announcement about the show on Apple's feed. She said that someone said a number to her and told her not to fuck it up. She said she's usually on beta blockers, so she doesn't get nervous. Howard said people would be surprised to hear that she has to use that. Howard said if he told his shrink that his friend wants to see him, then he'd ask if he wants to guard their relationship. He said he thinks their shrink would let her friend see him. Howard asked why they have to go to her shrink. Jennifer says she tells people she has a great shrink. Howard said this is not good. He said she should change shrinks. Jennifer said she's on a break right now. Howard said you can't take a break. Jennifer said yes you can. She asked what's wrong with his shrink. Howard says she thinks she should be seeing her shrink. Jennifer said she can take a break. Howard asked if it's a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Jennifer said it's a psychologist. So again, this was I thought that was a little telling. We're not going to play it because most likely it'll get flagged. But that was just
a complete bore.
Yeah, it was. And if you look, there's some clips on the Howard Stern YouTube channel and stuff, and it's really just her plugging stuff and him talking about friends and there's probably a full video you can get out there somewhere if you're on his Howard TV thing, or whatever it's called now, 360. But it was just plugorama, and I hate to say it, but now she really does not look good with whatever puffiness she's got on her face. She's finally, all that work she's been getting done, like the little bits, it's starting to show on her. I don't know if she's aging very well.
She always looked the same to me. I never thought she was a spectacular beauty, but I appreciate the fact
cute.
that she keeps in shape.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought it was kind of, I just found it funny because she's not, like, she's clearly 52, early 50s now.
Yeah.
For her age, I think she looks great, but she looks very odd in that Howard. Maybe it's the way they film her. I have no idea.
Maybe because it's so early.
Maybe, who knows? And God only knows, like in that studio, whatever the fuck. And he's still hiding behind 6 microphones. So you can, in the same video, you can see her fine. You can see through her 360. You see him maybe 36. But anything else you want to add to this before we wrap it up?
Oh, these are just so fun. He's so full of shit.
Yeah. So the next one, we're going to be doing these in installments, everybody. There's going to be the Kelly Ripa, Mark Consuelos one, because there's some kind of feud. That one is the opposite. It wasn't it was a reverse turnaround, because they're not friends. They're not on speaking terms. And I would love to know the scuttlebutt on that.
Yeah, that's a good rescindiary.
So until the next one, we will let you guys know. So you have if you want some questions, you can get answered here in terms of these reshindings. We're going to do an Ellen one for sure. There's the Lena Dunham. There's there's a couple of musician ones. Jesus, now I'm talking like him. Musicians. There's the Dee Snider. That's one where you just kind of cut the cord on him completely, which is really shitty. Love to interview Dee about that. But we're going to be doing these every so often. So if you have any questions, we'll post it on our Facebook feed and in our group. Check us on Facebook. The show is on Podbean.
Or if you have any ones you want, just give a comment. Because sometimes we can't remember them all because there's just so many.
Yeah, there's shitloads of them. And whenever we're going to be getting to them once in a while, every so often in between like Weeks in Review and other deep dives. So if there's nothing more, hope you enjoyed this one. And I've been Jim.
I'm Sam.
And we'll see you on the next one, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Take care.